Hi, this is John with BFS, and I'm here today with my son Trace. I'm really honored to have him here today. We're going to share a little bit about how Trace has overcome some tough obstacles with his training, not just physically but mentally, to be able to do the things that he loves to do. Within that, the great tool that he's been using for the last year or so has been the BFS program to kind of help him recover from this tough challenge he's been in. The amazing thing about the BFS program, and we've been doing this a long time, and the focus is always about looking at whatever student you're working with and really helping them accomplish their goals. And so one of the things that Trace dealt with at a very young age was a disease called Perthes Disease. And that's where the head of your femur loses blood flow at a very young age. As this disease progresses, it usually leads to surgery. And so for Trace, after many years of kind of dealing with that, he came to a point where he had to have surgery. And this was just over a year ago. And so in that surgery, they had to dislocate his left femur and basically rebuild the femur. And within rebuilding that femur, there was a lot of work that had to be done to make sure that femur was going to sit in the hip socket the proper way. Prior to the surgery, he was very limited in mobility. He was very asymmetrical. He wasn't moving properly. He had a lot of challenges. Yet within those challenges, he was still playing sports and kind of just dealing with the pain. So what was really neat for us, being in a position to coach our son and really see him progress, is the first thing they did for him right after surgery, when he was finally cleared to start physical therapy. The first day they had him doing a box squat, which was really special because it was something that Trace had done before, because at a young age we talked to his orthopedic surgeon and said, what can we do with him? What do we need to do to help him to prolong the surgery that's bound to come down the road? And he said, you need to get his core strong, his lower body strong, and help those muscles develop as best you can to minimize the damage that's going to eventually come on the femur and the hip socket. So, he started doing some bodyweight training at a very young age and working on mobility and flexibility, trying to get him moving properly and giving him the opportunity to develop and hopefully prolong that surgery. And so for years he was able to endure, and finally it kind of came to a head. And so after the surgery, what was so neat was the doctors and physical therapists putting him right back into the same things that he already knew what to do. And so he started squatting, he started working on range of motion training, and eventually he got to the point where they said, okay, he's cleared to start running and jumping and really training his body, because we know he wants to play sports again. And so following the BFS system, he went right back into bodyweight training. And as we got into bodyweight, we took some baseline measurements of his performance. We looked at how he could jump, how he could land, his mobility, all sorts of different areas that we wanted to measure to see if he was developing symmetrically as an athlete again. As we did that, he gradually progressed into resistance training, which is the second tier of the BFS program, and that's where we implement what's called the readiness program. And you can see here, this is Trace's readiness book. He's got lots of progression here, a lot of different things he's done and accomplished, starting at a very lightweight after his bodyweight training. But more importantly than the resistance training, it's what he's done in his performance and movement tests. And this is the part I want to share with you, and then we'll let Trace share a couple things as well. In looking at him post-surgery, one of the things that was so important for us is to make sure that he started to become symmetrical again, and that he was able to jump and land and do the things he'd be doing in sports. So in looking at a simple test, for example, we looked at his standing long jump. Right after surgery, when he was cleared, his standing long jump was 63 inches. And so then he had a handful of months to train and get ready for his first season of sports that he'd play, which his sport that he was really passionate about is lacrosse. Starting at 63 inches, a handful of months later, with his proper training, he hit 82 inches on a standing long jump, which was a great improvement. But even more importantly was we test the single leg standing long jump, because what we wanted to see was from his right leg to his left leg, and the left leg is the major area of surgery that he had on his hip. And so we really wanted to know how asymmetrical he was and get him symmetrical as he developed with his proper training. And within that, never sacrificing technique for pounds. So his standing long jump started. His right leg was 57 inches long. His left leg, he could only jump 34 inches. So over a 20-inch gap between the two. By the time he rolled around the season, his right leg was jumping a 72, and his left leg was jumping 67. So he was only 5-inch difference when he finally got to that season. Now that's a huge improvement, not only in just overall strength and jumping ability, but in symmetrical movement, getting those legs closer together. His vertical jump, we did the same thing. By the time the season began, his vertical jump, he was exactly the same, within maybe half an inch on either leg. And that's a huge component for us, looking at his movement, making sure that we're minimizing the risk of injury. So for him, as a young student athlete, getting symmetrical and having proper training has been a huge benefit to giving him a chance to get back to do the things that he loves. So I'm going to have Trace share a couple things, and maybe to start, Trace, how did you feel physically and mentally coming out of surgery? I know it was a big surgery. How did you feel afterwards before you started to train?
I felt like it was going to be a long road to get back to where I was or to get better, but I think that helped me a lot just to be motivated that I could get through everything.
Yeah, and so was it a pretty long road?
Yeah, definitely.
And so in that challenge of going through that road of kind of rebuilding your body, what things that you did in your training did you see the biggest areas of success that really helped you?
One thing that was the single leg squat, which really helped my left leg. I did twice the reps on my left leg than my right, and it really helped my left leg get back to where my right leg was, and that really helped.
That was great, right? I remember on your first couple, you couldn't squat down at all. You were so shaky and weak, and now it's pretty much the same between both legs, which is pretty special. How did it impact your running and your mobility? I know prior to having the surgery, you were very limited in how you could run. We always said you had a little hitch in your giddy up. How did the post-surgery training impact your mobility? For example, this season in lacrosse.
Yeah, before I was always running and my left leg would hurt a little bit or would not be as strong, and so it made me run weird. And then now after surgery, now that they're even and then a lot stronger, I've been able to run way more fluently and faster.
Does that feel good to have that strength to really be able to run? How's that impacted your confidence?
It's helped a lot because I know it was a really tough thing that I overcame, so now I know I can overcome anything, and it's helped a lot.
That's wonderful. So just, out of curiosity, what is a goal you have that something you're striving for? I know you're just getting out of 7th grade, but what do you want to accomplish in your life?
2 goals I have is one that's coming up is I want to be able to start on the varsity lacrosse team as a freshman, and the other one is I want to play college lacrosse in Notre Dame.
That's wonderful. Setting those goals, is an important factor of not only the mental side of development, but also the physical, because you're training for something, right?
Yeah.
You have a purpose. So I think what's really neat for anybody who sees this video is to understand that we're all going to be faced with challenges, and Trace is a great example of overcoming something. But there's a different challenge for all of us, and we all have those things that are tough to overcome. And having people in your life that can help, mentor and give you guidance and help you set a goal and have a plan to progress towards that goal can really be powerful. And so just remember, the kids you're working with, help guide them to find that goal, that thing they're passionate about, and then just follow the progression of proper training to get them to accomplish their goals, one step at a time, showing them that they can get better. And then if they do the little things right, that'll turn into a much higher chance of success as they get into those higher level skills. So thanks for watching. There'll be more to come, but we appreciate your time. Have a great day.